Welcome to this edition of Safety First. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. On today's program, we have two detectives with the Suffolk Police Department to talk about their new positions as LGBTQ liaisons with the community. So joining us today, we have Detective Tiffany Witten and Detective Sean Rowan. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about where did the idea for these positions come about? Where did the idea start? And kind of take us to where that is to where we are now with regard to the process of the original thing to where we are now.
Originally, the department had a request from the Hampton Roads Pride organization, and they've been working to get liaisons with all the local departments in the 7 cities. The original liaison position was created in Norfolk PD, by Norfolk PD, and we've kind of modeled ours after that.
Okay, and then as far as for both of you, and I'd like both of you to respond here, obviously it was an application process within the department.
Correct.
Talk about both of your methodology for wanting to apply and kind of take the lead on these positions.
Well, like you said, it is an application process.
Yes.
So it comes out saying we're going to open up this position. If you would like to apply, you have to have certain criteria, been here a certain amount of time, etc.
Right.
So I put in originally, obviously I'm gay. I'm pretty sure you read the article, as many people have.
Right.
And so that's one reason that I did it. Also, I have family members who are gay as well, and I have a couple who are transgender.
Okay.
So for me, obviously, it's an important role.
Yes.
Not just for being here in the police department, but in my personal life as well. I figured I could relate to a lot of the stories and that sort of thing.
Okay. So. Detective Rowan?
For me, I'm straight, but I have a lot of friends, a lot of family that are in the community. So I've seen what their concerns are, I've seen their worries, and I felt that it's an important role to have and an important role to be a part of. And I feel that being a straight man, that I would be able to bridge the gap between the gay community and the straight community, especially with Detective Witten's help.
Right. Now, as far as for the two of you, how's it been so far? As far as what kind of feedback have you gotten from the community, as well as the fact that both of you have been appointed the positions, of course, kind of how it's gone so far. And again, you were the first liaisons we have, so we don't have anything to base it on, but just as far as how the program has been implemented, and as also, community feedback and your outreach to the community, both as individuals and as a collective for the department.
Well, we both went to Hampton Roads collectively for the LGBTQ. That was in Norfolk a few weeks ago, and that was really enlightening. There was not only community from Norfolk, but from all over. We were able to meet some of the other liaisons, which is awesome. Honestly, we don't have, we haven't received any calls or anything at this point. But we want to offer not just for, hey, if you have an LGBTQ crime that's happened, but if you have a child that's suffering from bullying, or if your child is, or you think that might be gay, we want to offer assistance. We have obviously the community that we can say, hey, here's programs, or here's someone you can contact, or mentors. So we don't want it to just be, hey, it's a criminal matter.
So, not just negative stuff, but also sort of the positives.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And your experience as well?
That's really what Detective Witten said is spot on. We're here in a support role. This isn't our primary position. We're both detectives. Our primary role is to investigate crimes that we are assigned, but being a safe point of contact is important for people who wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable coming to law enforcement, coming forward, calling 911. We're here, we're gonna listen, and we're gonna handle it appropriately. And what we really want to emphasize is that regardless of your orientation, regardless of whatever community you're a part of, you're still going to be treated with professionalism and courtesy by the Suffolk Police Department.
Now, have either two of you had any training as a result of being named the liaison position as far as within the department, or sort of really your past experience both in the academy, on the job, and everything combined, personal experience as well, kind of giving you the foundation by which to go out there and serve in this capacity?
Well, every year we do have in-service, and we are taught the ethics, obviously, different races and religions and creeds and that sort of thing. So every year we all, as a collective whole, go through that kind of training.
Yeah, bias-based policing is a routine part of our in-service. Regarding any specific training for this position, there really isn't an organized training curriculum for this. We kind of are taking our personal experiences and our personal abilities and bringing that to this to this position.
So really, it's an extension of what the department as a whole gets training on,
Absolutely.
as far as working with the community, regardless
Right.
of what community or what individual it may or may not be, as far as in that
Correct.
situation. In the event that someone would need to reach out to the one or two of you and feels like, well, I want to talk with someone, both, if an incident happened, or in the event they just want to, certainly just talk. What's the best way to reach the two of you, or the best way to kind of reach out to the liaison positions? What's the best way to do that?
They can either call 923-2350, which is our non-emergency dispatch line, ask for either of us or
Okay.
the liaisons, or you can call our offices. Mine is 514-7892,
Okay.
and I don't know what
And
his
mine
is.
is 514-7925.
Okay. So moving forward, do you have plans between the two of you to expand any of the outreach that maybe already is done, so it's not just a reactive thing to the contact, or what are the plans between the two of you with the liaison position?
A lot of what we're seeing is that there isn't a specific group within Suffolk
Right.
or within Virginia Beach or within Norfolk. It's a regional
Got it.
regional thing. So we work with Hampton Roads Pride. We're in good communication with them, see what their needs are, if they
Sure.
have any questions.
Right.
Any local schools that might have a gay straight alliance that they're forming, we're happy
Right.
to reach out,
Okay.
happy to speak with them about the services that we know are available.
Okay. Now, as far as with the positions themselves in the community, I mean, again, we talked about this already. I think, Detective Whitten, you had noted there's really been no contact that either of you received so far. But as far as, I'm sure you probably, in your own personal experiences, talked to members of the community, and I would assume and you mentioned Hampton Roads Pride, certainly felt the need for this, and
Right.
we've seen multiple departments across Hampton Roads
Correct.
create these positions. Is there networking with the two of you and other officers who serve in that capacity? Again, you talked about sort of a regional approach to things, right?
Correct.
Has there been that outreach?
There has.
If so, what has it been like, or what?
Everybody's been super awesome and positive and offering, routes that they've taken.
Sure.
Such as Virginia Beach, they did have the Gay Straight Alliance not too long ago. That was on the news.
Correct.
With one of their high schools.
What do you think it says to the two of you that the Suffolk Police Department felt the need to do this, and the fact of, again, community outreach? I mean, you see things we might see in the paper every day. There was this incident or that incident across our communities. But again, the positive side of things, the fact that really the Suffolk Police Department really in so many ways, not only are you law enforcement, but in a way you're sort of almost social workers to a point, in the sense of working with the community to address situations, address problems. And again, we're talking across the entire scope of Suffolk here. But just your thoughts about that, and as far as just how that process really works.
Well, for me, personally, like I was saying before,
Yes.
I think if I wasn't a police officer, I
Right.
would be pretty honored that I lived in a place that had someone that I could go to if I had an issue.
Right.
Because you can speak to someone who might not walk in your same shoes, but at least understand where you're coming from.
Exactly.
And at least I have a point of contact. So if a friend needed help, hey, they have this person you could talk to, and they
Right.
could relate to you. Well, because I'm both, I feel like it's important for me to be in this position and say, hey, let me show you the police side,
Right.
because a lot of times they don't see us as people, I
Correct.
guess, It's
It's
hard
the
to...
badge, and you don't realize there's
Right,
someone behind
right,
it, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. I think the more that we can relate with the community, the more that we can talk to the community, they can see us as people. We show them that we view them as people.
Correct.
With their own issues, their own concerns, that in the end, if a crime does happen, that we have a better chance of solving that, because we can't solve crimes without the public's help.
Correct.
Bottom line, we can only do so much. If you know something and you don't come forward, you're not helping us, you're not helping the victims.
Right.
If you know something, come forward.
Sure.
And we think that by continuing with community outreach, that's going to help that.
Very good, very good. Well, again, we have just a couple minutes left in the program. I just want to give the two of you both an opportunity. Anything else you wanted to add to the discussion we've had here? Again, the program is really just started. I think we're just, a couple months as far as into the two of you being named. And correct me if I'm wrong, there was I don't want to use the word kickoff, but maybe it was a kickoff event through Hampton Roads Pride, I think, where all the liaisons were brought together. Is that correct? And was that sort of a community forum, or how did that work, that one particular event work, where y'all were a part of that, I know?
it was a forum. So we had a panel of
Right.
obviously different backgrounds. They had the FBI, they had the Virginia Beach liaison, they actually had a transgender, and who was...
I think there was also believe Norfolk.
Oh, there's the
There was
captain.
a captain
Right,
with
okay.
Norfolk was.
Got
So
it.
they had
was
the
there.
community come out
Sure.
from all the regions.
Correct,
So
right,
you had people from
right.
Chesapeake there, from Suffolk,
Right.
from Norfolk, obviously, because it was in Norfolk.
Sure.
They were speaking of why it was important to have it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the audience were able to ask questions
Got
of
it.
why do you feel that this is important? Why do we
Yes.
need this? Why do we need that? Who do we
Exactly.
contact?
Right.
And we were able to meet them all for the first time
Correct.
versus over the telephone or via email.
Right.
So that was pretty awesome too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's nice to put names to faces, to ask questions for people who have been in this position longer. How do they work this position? What's important? Is there things that we need to know, tips, tricks, that kind of
Correct.
thing? So opening that line of communication and that networking was invaluable for us.
And I think it's interesting that how, the liaison positions, whether it's the LGBTQ or whether it's, youth or any other position that the police department has, it's like we've been talking about the fact that people get to know the person behind
Right.
the badge, that we're talking about individuals, people, you actually live and breathe and do everything that you do, but the fact that you can relate to whatever community that, again, you're going to be talking with and working with.
Right.
And the two of you as detectives, again, approaching it from the perspective of needing the community's help to solve crimes. I think
Correct.
from that perspective, you guys are used to, looking at a situation, investigating it, trying to determine all the ins and outs there,
Right.
and certainly get the guilty party and put him or her away as the situation would be. But I think, both of your approaches are very unique to the position, and as far as what it definitely helped kind of open those lines of communication, which is really what we're talking about
Yeah.
here, and certainly want those lines of communication to be on the positive side, hopefully not in a negative situation
Right.
where someone needs to reach out, but you're here. So I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I think Detective Whitten mentioned the non-emergency number, again, 923-2350, and I believe it's option 0 would connect you with a
Correct.
non-emergency dispatcher. So you're not calling 911, you are calling the dispatch center, but again, that's probably the best way to reach out. But
Right.
again, you
Yes.
mentioned both of your office numbers as well.
Correct.
And we'll put those up on the screen one more time here before we close out. So again, I want to thank Detective Whitten, Detective Rowan, thank you for spending time with us
Thank you.
today.
Absolutely, thank you.
That would do it for this edition of Safety First. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. See you next time.